reader that we've created, we're going to tell it where that file is, where the Fortnite replay file is that we want to read. And then we're going to basically, it's going to give us back a replay, which is some other thing, right? But it's basically the game replay itself. So the reader is the thing that like goes and reads the file, and then it gives you a replay. And so the replay is the stuff with all of the data in it about the game. You know, the eliminations, like what happened, kind of all that stuff. And the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm also going to create a player lookup. You can think of it as like a database, but basically in this case, it is a dictionary, is the .NET term for the name for the data structure that we'll be using. And so when I go through and I start reading this replay file to get, you know, data about the eliminations of the game, it's going to give me back these IDs for players. And they're not, you know, like when you kill a player in Fortnite or you get eliminated by someone and it says, you know, like you got eliminated by like blah, blah, blah TTV or whatever, something, something TikTok, or, you know, Cafe Dave, or, you know, one of the bot names or something. The replay file doesn't actually store, well, I should say it does store those names, but the elimination data doesn't have that name. It has the unique ID of that player. And so you need to, we're going to need to basically build up a table that like a, you know, almost like kind of like a spreadsheet of the player ID and the player name to be able to see that. And so that's what I'm doing right here, is creating this dictionary. And then we're just going to go through, and for each again means that we're gonna loop over a bunch of data, and that is the player data. So in the replay file, we've got a list of all of the player data, and that's basically going to be every player that you've seen during the game, because this is a replay file from your computer. So it only has data about players that were in your general area during the game. It doesn't have like every player in the game as far as I know. It could possibly have that because I guess you're on the bus and you're probably close to all the players at that point, but I'm not entirely sure about that. But we've got this stuff called player data, and we want to go look through it. And then we want to basically, I'm going to skip over some of this in terms of like the getting the type and stuff, because it's probably not of interest to folks, but we effectively need to get the player ID for every player that we see in the game and their name. And then we're just going to store them side by side so that in the future, if I get a player ID of like, you know, player 123, and I want to know if that's Cafe Dave, or, you know, what's some other, I'm just thinking of Cafe Dave as the bot name because there is somebody in Fortnite over 40 named Cafe Dave, and so it's an easy one to remember. But there's other bot names, you know, like something metal, heavy metal, I can't remember. But we're going to want to look up the actual, like the numerical ID and get the name from that, because when we look at someone who is eliminated, we're